Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, is supposed to embark on a tour of the mountain beginning tomorrow. And I've been following the political situation in the mountain very closely. William Ruto is going to go to the mountain, but William Ruto is going to be humiliated at the end of the tour. Earlier today, the Murang'a women rep, Betty Maina, was almost roughed up trying to mobilize the residents to attend William Ruto's tour. And who would have imagined that William Ruto going to the mountain by now would require serious mobilization? People like Sabina Chege had to go to the ground to mobilize for the tour.
Watu wa Murang'a tuko tayari kumkaribisha Rais William Samoei Ruto. Na hawa watu wote wamesema wako tayari. Mko tayari ama mko tayari? Mko tayari ama mko tayari? Wacha nione kwa mikono. Rais William Ruto umekaribishwa hapa Murang'a County. Tumwambie karibu rais. Tumwambie tena karibu rais. Ya pili, tumesema sisi wenyewe ndio tulichagua hii serikali. Hatutatoka, tunataka maendeleo. Nyinyi mnataka siasa ama maendeleo? Mnataka siasa ama maendeleo? Na tumesema tunataka maendeleo, hata rais akikuja atuletee maendeleo hapa Central na hapa kwanza Kandara constituency. Tunampenda na tunamuombea na tunajua mambo itakuwa sawa. Na wale ambao waheshimiwa wanasema hawakuitwa pale mkutano State House, hakuna mtu ambaye wa Central Kenya hakuitwa. Wengine wanang'ang'ana vile watachaguliwa 2027. Lakini hawa wananchi hawaangalii vile watachagua 2027, wakati huu wanataka maendeleo.
Ground iko sawa na tunangojea Rais William Ruto akuja atembee mlima Kenya next week na mtaona vile tutamlaki vizuri. Nilikuwa nasema mahali siku ya leo hakuna nafasi ya watu kuulizana kama rais anaenda ama haendi. Rais ni rais wa kila mahali na Mount Kenya haina rais wake kama si Ruto. Kwa hivyo rais akikuja sisi tunamngojea pale kwetu.
And for you to understand how serious the situation is on the ground, let me just read for you a post here by Kieni Member of Parliament, Honorable Njoroge Wainaina Chieni. This is what he posted 2 days ago. Karibu Kieni, Your Excellency William Samoei Arap Ruto. Kieni is ready to host you. Muchiri residents are happy. Over 3,000 landowners to receive their title deeds. We were elected to represent and to work for the people. We were elected not to do politics. We must leave a legacy. Now that's the Member of Parliament saying here that the residents there will be issued with the title deeds. Now, keen residents observed that Kanini Kega in 2017 had issued those title deeds through Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So when that was pointed out, the MP alleged that the ones they'll be given will have some green marks. Ladies and gentlemen, it is clear that William Ruto's tour of the mountain is a do or die for him. But I want to assure you that William Ruto is going to be humiliated, is going to be embarrassed. He's not going to achieve the objectives he wants to achieve. Why am I saying so? Number one, William Ruto is going to the mountain and is going to meet very angry residents who feels that he has betrayed them. William Ruto was a darling of the mountain. The mountain voted for him to the last man. Why do you think the mountain voted for William Ruto? Do you think they loved Ruto? That was not the case. They voted for Ruto majorly for two main reasons. the promises William Ruto made to them. And number two, relophobia, which I'm going to explain. If you were to ask anybody in the mountain whether William Ruto has delivered on the promises he made to them, some of them will tell you there is nothing. And that's why I shared with you guys that post by the Kieni member of parliament. William Ruto is now trying to be a national leader. And as a national leader, he has to share the cake. While during the campaigns, the impression William Ruto created to the mountain was that because of their numbers, they were going to have their share. So if you have a cake and you own 70% of it, and you're told that's what you'll get, then the cake is brought on the table and you're not even getting half of it, you must feel cheated. And that's the biggest reason why William Ruto's tour in the mountain will flop. That's number one. Number two, William Ruto has failed to secure the endorsement of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I know some of you might argue that Uhuru Kenyatta is no longer a factor in Mount Kenya politics. But if you were to talk to the residents of the mountain deeply, they will tell you that they are actually regretting why they never listened to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And that's why Uhuru Kenyatta was declared the kingpin even by none other than Rigathi Gachagua. Because Uhuru Kenyatta's factor is very, very strong. When William Ruto appointed, were they 3 or 4 cabinet secretaries, Mutahi Kagwe, William Kabogo, Lee Kinyanjui, after meeting with Uhuru Kenyatta in Gatundu, the impression which William Ruto was creating was that he was appointing Uhuru Kenyatta's allies into his government. But recently we saw Uhuru Kenyatta distancing himself from that government. So what William Ruto ought to have done, he ought to have reached out to Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies over this visit. Then strategically, Uhuru Kenyatta would have activated his network. Because remember, despite the fact that the residents of the mountain hated Raila Odinga, they still listened to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and gave Raila Odinga a solid 1 million votes. So if they had not hated Raila Odinga, rest assured that they would have listened more to Uhuru Kenyatta. So that failure, because if he had won the support of Uhuru Kenyatta, he would have succeeded in changing the narrative. He would have succeeded, in my view, in changing even the way the mountain were going to perceive him. So that failure is number two. The most important reason why William Ruto is going to be embarrassed is Rigathi Gachagua's determination to send William Ruto home to Sugoi. Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, which is fine. But Rigathi Gachagua promised Kenyans that his only mission, one, is to send William Ruto home in 2027. And not sending William Ruto home through other way, by locking him out of the mountain. So immediately Rigathi Gachagua was removed. He went to the ground. The ground bought his stories. The ground is listening to Rigathi Gachagua. The other day, Rigathi Gachagua was in Naivasha. His message to the residents of the mountain, very simple. Pesa inaletwa hapo, go and take it. The next day, go home. But hiyo pesa usiende nayo nyumbani. The message is resonating so well with the residents down there. That determination is the biggest headache William Ruto is facing as he try to climb the mountain. And Rigathi Gachagua has come up with a team. And that team is as lethal as Rigathi Gachagua. They are determined. They can just remind you of the team William Ruto had in the mountain. Actually, they're the same team, by the way. Forget about the people who are now hanging around William Ruto currently. No. Those ones. Number 4 is Uhuru Kenyatta's development record in the mountain. When the residents of the mountain tells you that William Ruto conned them, they know what they are talking about. Because William Ruto cheated them and they bought it. That Uhuru Kenyatta did nothing to them. And therefore, they expected William Ruto to surpass what Uhuru Kenyatta did. William Ruto took office. Then they started realizing that Mount Kenya, which was kind of a construction site, was no more. The roads which Uhuru Kenyatta was doing, which they were never seeing, were now stalled. That's why the Kini MP had to go back to title deeds, because they can't pinpoint certain projects. There are certain constituencies William Ruto is not going to visit because lack of projects. Did you know the other day went and tried to launch that CDF office, which is going to serve as the county commissioner's office and the rest? Those guys were told not to join him because that is one of the projects William Ruto had intended to go and launch. So Ndindi Nyoro went ahead of him. The bar which Uhuru Kenyatta set for the people of the mountain, they're now realizing. So for Ruto, he has a bigger task. He has to surpass. Because he told them, Uhuru Kenyatta did nothing. He took all the money to Nyanza. Now, these guys are seeing projects in Nyanza, the ones in the mountain are stalled. How do you convince those people that you mean well for them? But now this is the reason why this trip is going to flop. Railaphobia. The main reason why the mountain voted for Ruto. Railaphobia. I'll be waiting to see how William Ruto will go to the mountain and explain to them why he had to look for Raila Amolo Odinga to work with, when he told them that Raila Odinga was a devil. That's one question those guys are waiting Ruto to answer. Because you told us this guy, but now he has 7 members in the cabinet. Let me conclude by saying that William Ruto's allies in the mountain are also his biggest problem. After the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, they could not go to the ground, which was understandable. But as a member of parliament, maybe they don't have resources, but as a member of parliament, they ought to have done A, B, C, D in the name of the president. Remember, because they've not done anything, they told the president, we don't want to go to the ground. But the president insisted. So let us wait for the humiliation. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.